As Silent Spring came out and everyone had a moment of pause whether or not we should be putting these chemicals on our planet. This is food. Is this something we want to put into our bodies? As a baker, my answer to why is the role of organic important was always I wanted to make the best possible loaf of bread, so why wouldn't I start with the highest quality grain? And to me, that starts with the soil, and it was a no-brainer for me that of course we're gonna work with organic flour. The amount of organic acreage has grown profoundly in the South, and I can't help but feel that CFSA has had an instrumental role in seeing that happen.
CFSA is an excellent organization, and they've had a lot of impact in terms of the agricultural and sustainable production in the Carolinas. And what we really appreciate them is beyond the base of small organic producers, they've also taken it on as part of their role to try being helpful to those who of us are on more of a commercial scale. The production of organic small grains, whether it's wheat, rye, barley, or whatever, is relatively straightforward, but it's more of a mindset that you have to be thinking proactively about what your previous issues have been and timely about your planning so that you avoid certain pest issues. The utilization of all organic inputs, whether that's the seed or whatever means you use for fertilization, it has to be something that is certified organic. And actually knowing the land that you're on and understanding it more thoroughly than you might if you were in a conventional situation. Over time, there have been specific instances where they wanted us to try, Carolina ground that is, wanted us to try different types of grains and things, and some of that's been successful and some of it has not been. But it's always nice to have that direct connection with your customer. They're excited about it, they're looking for something different, and they give you the opportunity to be on the front side of something rather than reacting to what you think the market might be wanting.
The mindset before Carolina Ground was more about grain for a feed grade market than a food grade market. So with our farmers, we speak a lot about what does this need to look like for a food grade market. The soft wheats that are coming out, like Carolina White, which is a wheat because we wanted a white pastry wheat, and we had a wheat breeder at NC State who didn't think he had a market, and I said, we're a market, we'll make this happen. And we kept it a public variety. We have public breeders, and it means that we keep this in the hands of the people on the ground.
Well, when Jen first started this project, which I believe was probably about 7 years ago, being able to use locally grown wheat at our bakery, to me, was just an amazing concept. I've been into local and organics for over 20 years. It's a concept that I really believe in. In the first few years, when I'd go to pick up my flour at Carolina Ground, there would just be, just a few dollies of flour, Flat Rock Village Bakery being one of maybe 3, and now I go in there and there's probably 15 stacks of flour ready to be picked up by other bakeries or grocery stores in the area across the state. So it's really been exciting to see her production and her milling go up year by year.
Organic to me, at least in this project, farmers growing crops in an organic fashion implies a different level of care, that they are working a little harder to meet the needs of our customers. We know the products that we make with the organic flours from Carolina Ground and elsewhere are the best that they can be, and our customers really appreciate that.
With grain, part of what makes it distinctly local for us is how we're processing it. We're cold stone milling. We're not doing industrial roller milling, which strips the flavor, and the oils are still there that are crushed into the starchiness. You can feel it, you can taste it. Does it taste like where it came from?
Kind of at the beginning of each flower season, she brings us flour to test to see if it is workable on the baker's end. When every new crop is coming in, Jen goes through a very stressful period of trying to find the best grain possible to buy, but ultimately it comes down to whether the bakers can turn it into a good loaf of bread.
I didn't start this bakery to become, the only locally sourced hearth bread that was organic in Durham or something. It was more just making something that I truly believed in and inviting people to come along on the journey to explore some new breads. And it has been a learning experience for many of my customers to explore breads that are a little darker in color that they might have been used to, had a heartier crust than they might have been used to, were a little chewier on the inside. But it's been a great experience in watching people coming around to what we think makes a good loaf of bread.
People enjoy what you make, it brings them pleasure, you create something beautiful. The breads are all shaped by hand, fermented overnight, old traditional way of doing things.
CFSA was the nonprofit that incubated this for-profit business. They enabled us to build this aspect of the sustainable food system here in the Carolinas. We're not just connecting farmer with baker, we're changing the landscape. For us, that flour is just the tip of the iceberg.